I've played some other questionable characters before, and I find that you can't judge your character as the actor portraying someone. You can't judge them at all. You have to find their truth, what they tell themselves every morning to get up out of bed and live their lives. And I think LaVonna tells herself that she was a good mother and was providing her daughter with an opportunity to have a better life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she sees herself as a great mother, that she, worked and every penny went for her daughter's skating costume. She drove her to practices, she drove her to competitions, she gave everything to her daughter. So in her mind, she's a great mother. She knew how to make her daughter perform better by insulting her, making her angry, and her job was not to be, in LaVonna's mind, her job was not to be her daughter's best friend or be sweet and kind to her. It was to give her a better life and make her a champion.
Because you kind of see that.
Yeah.
You do. You really do. You kind of see her side of the,
Yeah.
even though none of us would want to have a mom maybe like that.
Yeah.
That's just who she
And then the awful comedy in this comes with the juxtaposition of scenes against the different characters, versions of their story, their monologues, their direct address to the camera. And you see me throwing a knife at my daughter, and then you see me going, what family doesn't have their ups and downs? It's totally minimalizing, trivializing the abuse, and which is what I think people would do in abusive situations. You don't, it's not. It's portrayed as being absolutely normal and the way we interact with each other.
Because when you watch the movie, there's a lot of abuse in it.
Yeah.
And we've seen movies about abuse and the tragedy with that. This one kind of just like, this is life. It wasn't focused on as the negative aspect of her life. It was just, that's it.
No, it was absolutely portrayed. We didn't sugarcoat it, didn't do anything, but just show it the way it was, and her, according to her and Jeff, and I think that's where it becomes, or you see what abuse looks like. It sometimes looks absolutely like normal. There's nothing out of the ordinary. This is everyday routine for them, and that's where it's horrifying.
You obviously, like myself, we remember this story. It was so huge. It was right before OJ. It was all anyone talked about.
Yeah.
Do you see the whole thing differently now that you kind of got inside about, differently with Tonya, the way you kind of look at her and judge her?
Yeah, I did very much when the story came out. It was right at the advent of the 24-hour news cycle, and the media very much latched on to Tonya being the bad girl and Nancy Kerrigan being the ice princess and the evil and good, and that narrative was what the media fed to everyone. It was, and people bought it. They wanted it. They wanted more and more and more. And now, having worked on the movie and seeing what really happened in her life, I have so much more empathy for Tonya Harding and understand that there were so many other things at play leading up to that incident, and perhaps we don't, the Stephen Rogers, who wrote the movie, and Craig Gillespie, who directed it, they don't, the way they put this film together, it doesn't answer anything, but it just informs you more about what her world was, and you come away with a different opinion about Tonya Harding. I think absolutely people will have, and ultimately she was a champion. She's still one of the only women who has ever done a triple axel. She was incredibly talented. She was a champion.